Most gardeners pull their tomato vines in August and call the season done. That single decision costs them an entire second harvest. Here's the part almost nobody talks about. Late summer isn't the finish line. It's a reset button. While your neighbors are clearing out tired, sunburned beds, a narrow window is opening right now, and most people walk straight past it. August soil is still warm from months of sun. That warmth speeds up germination in a way spring soil never can. But the air above is starting to cool, and that shift is exactly what certain vegetables have been waiting for all year. They grow sweeter. They grow tougher. Some of them actually taste better after the first frost hits. Skip this window, and your bed sit empty until next spring. Catch it, and you could be pulling fresh vegetables out of the ground in November, sometimes even after a hard freeze. But there's a catch. Not every vegetable behaves this way. Plant the wrong crop in August, and it either bolts in the heat, stalls out, or runs out of time before the cold arrives. Timing isn't optional here. It's everything. So which 8 vegetables are built for this exact window? And which one, a crop most people completely overlook every single year, might end up being the easiest and most forgiving of them all? That's next. Here's a crop almost every gardener already grows, but plants at exactly the wrong time. Get it wrong, and it bolts, turns bitter, and dies out in a week. Get it right in August, and it becomes one of the sweetest things in your garden. That crop is spinach. Sow it in mid-August, while the soil is still holding on to its summer warmth, and germination speeds up fast. The cooling nights ahead do the rest, packing extra sugar into the leaves. Frost doesn't hurt spinach here. It's part of the plan. The mistake that ruins fall spinach before it even sprouts is planting in full afternoon sun. The soil surface bakes hard and dries out fast, and tiny seedlings can't handle it. A little shade during germination changes the outcome completely. Next, the fastest vegetable on this entire list, radishes. Some varieties are ready in as little as 3 to 4 weeks. That's not a typo. For anyone who's ever planted something in spring and waited 2 months for a single harvest, radishes feel almost unfair. Cooler weather actually improves them, making the roots crisper instead of woody and pithy. Here's where people slip up, planting them all on one day. Sow a new row every week to 10 days, and instead of one big harvest, you get a steady supply for months. Then there's kale, and this is where things get interesting. Kale doesn't just tolerate frost. It practically depends on it. After a light freeze, the flavor changes completely, losing that raw bitterness and turning noticeably sweeter. Harvest only the outer leaves, and the center keeps producing for months, sometimes straight through winter in milder regions. But there's one vegetable on this list that quietly wrecks itself underground, and almost nobody realizes it until the roots come out of the soil looking wrong. Carrots. And here's the part almost nobody expects. The mistake that ruins them doesn't happen at planting. It happens weeks later, and by the time you notice, the damage is already done. Most people assume carrots are spring vegetable. That's actually backwards. Cool fall weather triggers the roots to store extra sugar, almost like a natural antifreeze, and at the same time firms up the flesh so flavor and texture improve together instead of one at the expense of the other. Some gardeners even leave carrots in the ground through the first few frosts on purpose. Here's where it goes wrong. Uneven watering. Let the soil dry out, then soak it, then let it dry again, and the roots respond by splitting right down the middle. A simple soaker hose or drip line takes the guesswork out of it. Leaf lettuce follows a similar pattern for a different reason. In spring, lettuce bolts and turns bitter the moment temperatures spike. In fall, that problem nearly disappears, and fewer pests show up too. The only real challenge is getting seeds to germinate while the soil's still warm, and a little afternoon shade solves in the first week or two. Now here's a myth worth busting. and it's an easy one to fall for. Picture two beet rows planted side by side. One gets a heavy dose of nitrogen fertilizer, the other doesn't. From above, the fertilized row looks incredible, huge, glossy green tops. Pull them up, though, and the roots underneath are barely bigger than your thumb. Beets put their energy exactly where you feed them, and if that's the leaves, the roots pay the price. Turnips get ignored constantly, dismissed as bland or old-fashioned. But a light frost changes the texture completely. Roots turn tender instead of fibrous, and the greens lose their sharp bite. Wait too long to pull them, though, and they turn woody fast. Smaller really is better here. Then there's the quiet overachiever of the fall garden, Swiss chard. While spinach sulks in leftover summer heat, chard barely notices, shrugging off both lingering warmth and an early frost without missing a beat. Here's the part that surprises people. One single chard plant, harvested correctly, can keep producing fresh leaves for months, sometimes clear through a mild winter. The trick is protecting the center. Cut the growing point by accident, and the whole plant stops. Harvest only the outer leaves, it just keeps going. 8 crops, one narrow window, and the biggest payoff of all is still ahead. Here's the mistake that can wipe out all 8 of these crops, even after you planted every single one exactly right. It's moisture. August seed beds dry out shockingly fast, and most fall garden failures happen before a seedling ever breaks the surface, not after. A simple drip irrigation kit takes that guesswork off your plate entirely, especially if you're away from the garden during the day. There's a second way this window gets missed, though. Plant too early while the soil's still blazing hot, and the seeds just sit there, stalled, waiting for conditions that never come. That's exactly why a basic soil thermometer clears up the confusion in seconds, telling you the moment the soil's actually ready instead of guessing. And here's the trick that turns this from one big harvest into months of them. Succession sour radishes and lettuce every week or two instead of planting everything on the same day. Instead of one overwhelming pile of vegetables, you get a steady trickle clear into November. And if you're wondering why broccoli, cabbage, or Asian greens didn't make the cut, they deserve a video of their own. This one's about the fastest, most forgiving wins for right now. Here's the real takeaway. Your growing season isn't ending. It's shifting into a second act, one with fewer pests, less watering stress, and in several cases, better flavor than anything you grew all summer. Spinach, radishes, kale, carrots, lettuce, beets, turnips, chard. 8 chances to fill beds that would otherwise sit empty until spring. So now it's your turn. Which one surprised you most? Carrots getting sweeter after a frost, turnips finally earning some respect, or something else on this list you didn't expect? Tell us in the comments, and let us know what you're planting this week. If this saved your fall garden, subscribe. There's a lot more growing season left than most people think.